All right, let's jump right into this explainer and unravel a massive existential mystery regarding the future of human health. We constantly hear about overpopulation being this pressing planetary concern, but there's actually a silent global crisis unfolding right now in our own biology. It's a crisis of human vitality and fertility, and it's accelerating right under our noses. Today, we're going to look at some meticulous research from leading scientists and medical professionals to uncover the hidden saboteurs that are quietly hijacking our bodies.
To really grasp the scale of this issue, we have to look at the numbers, and honestly, they are nothing short of staggering. Over the last 50 years, worldwide fertility and sperm counts in Western countries have plummeted by more than 50%. I mean, let that sink in for a second. In just half a century, the biological currency of human reproduction has essentially been sliced in half.
And this brings us to a pretty chilling reality pointed out by renowned epidemiologist Dr. Shanna Swan. In her groundbreaking book, Countdown, she highlights that out of the 5 possible criteria for what makes a species endangered, humans currently meet at least 3 of them. We definitely don't typically think of Homo sapiens as an endangered species, right? But from a purely reproductive standpoint, the biological alarm bells are ringing loud and clear.
And here's the kicker. This isn't just some historical trend that has finally leveled off. The decline in male and female reproductive development is actively accelerating. For a long time, the deterioration was tracking at about 1% per year. But when researchers updated their analysis recently, they found something deeply concerning. Since the year 2000, the rate of sperm count decline has actually more than doubled. We are literally on a fast track, and the modern world is currently on pace to become an infertile one.
Think about it generationally. This takes those abstract statistics and makes them deeply personal. Because of this rapid decline, a man today has only half the number of sperm his grandfather had. Half. And it's not just a male issue either. In some parts of the world, a 20-something woman today can actually be less fertile than her grandmother was at the age of 35.
So the obvious question we've got to ask is, how and why could this happen? What exactly is hijacking our fertility and our overall health? To solve this physiological mystery, we really have to look closely at our modern environment and specifically at what we can call the hidden saboteurs.
Section 1, the external saboteur, chemical culprits.
Now, what's incredibly fascinating is this dense, nationally representative clinical study from the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey. For the very first time in humans, researchers were able to link the world's most popular class of pesticides directly to massive reductions in serum testosterone. The chemicals in question are called neonicotinoids, and they are everywhere. They account for 25% of the global insecticide market. They're applied to 95% of U.S. cotton and nearly 100% of U.S. corn. Because they're highly soluble in water, they infiltrate plant tissues, persist in the soil for years, and contaminate our food and water supply. Despite being known to harm honeybees, they were largely deemed safe for mammals and just replaced older pesticides. Yet they are now detected in the urine of half the U.S. population aged 3 and older. They're practically inescapable. The crucial point is right here in the data. When researchers analyzed human exposure, they found that a tenfold increase in these total urinary neonicotinoids resulted in a massive 37.78% drop in total testosterone in males. And females aren't spared. They saw a staggering 32.91% lower testosterone level under the exact same exposure. This is a dramatic suppression of a vital hormone across both sexes, heavily associated with the very chemicals we rely on to grow our food. But how exactly are these chemicals pulling this off? Well, the science shows that neonicotinoids basically wage a microscopic war on our endocrine system. They actually inhibit cholesterol, which is the necessary biological building block for steroid hormones, from converting into testosterone. On top of that, they induce severe oxidative stress and literally damage the mitochondria inside Leydig cells. Those are the specific cellular factories in the body responsible for producing testosterone, so they're cutting off the supply chain and destroying the factory all at the same time. Now, while agricultural pesticides are clearly waging war from the outside through our food and water, we have to wonder, is that the whole story? Actually, no. We have another potent saboteur, and this one is working from within our own minds and daily routines.
Section 2, the internal saboteur, the stress cycle.
Think of your endocrine system like a giant biological seesaw. On one side, you've got cortisol, the stress hormone. On the other side, you have testosterone, the vitality hormone. When you face a stressful situation, like a looming deadline or a personal crisis, your body fires up the fight-or-flight response, flooding your system with cortisol.
While this is fantastic for short-term survival, chronic modern stress keeps cortisol constantly elevated. And because of their inverse biological relationship, as your cortisol skyrockets, your testosterone is biologically forced to plummet. This whole dynamic sets off what medical professionals call a vicious, self-perpetuating cycle. Chronic stress puts your body's stress control center, the HPA axis, into absolute overdrive, flooding you with cortisol. This high cortisol then directly suppresses the cells in your body that actually make testosterone. But here is the trap. Low testosterone impairs your body's ability to handle stress effectively. So your stress response gets even worse, pushing your cortisol even higher, driving your testosterone even lower. It's just a brutal downward spiral.
Section 3. The ripple effects.
And let me tell you, this hormonal decline permeates every single aspect of your daily life. When testosterone drops, you might experience persistent fatigue that just doesn't seem to go away, no matter how much you rest. You lose lean muscle mass and gain belly fat because your body's fat regulation gets totally thrown off. It saps your libido and sexual function. Mentally, it shows up as depression, anxiety, mood swings, and this distinct brain fog that makes concentrating incredibly difficult. It fundamentally changes how you feel and how you operate in the world. And beyond just feeling exhausted and unlike your usual self, these disrupted hormone levels drastically skyrocket your risk for severe, long-term health diseases. We are talking about significantly higher risks of cardiovascular disease, metabolic syndrome, and osteoporosis. This isn't just about feeling like you have a bit less energy. It's about the foundational deterioration of your body's armor against serious illness.
Section 4. Reclaiming our health.
But hey, it's not all doom and gloom. You can actually start rebuilding your hormonal foundation today with some highly targeted lifestyle changes. To balance out that cortisol seesaw, you can utilize mindfulness and meditation to actively lower those stress hormones. Hitting the gym for resistance training and high-intensity interval training stimulates natural testosterone production. Prioritizing 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep gives your body the absolute critical time it needs for hormonal repair. And a diet rich in zinc, vitamin D, and magnesium, that provides the exact nutrients you need to support hormone synthesis. However, if those lifestyle changes just aren't cutting it, maybe your levels have crashed a bit too far due to environmental or chronic stress factors, medical interventions are an option. Treatments like testosterone replacement therapy, or TRT, offer a highly effective way to safely replenish your depleted hormones. When administered by health practitioners, this precisely supplements your levels, snapping you right out of that vicious cycle of low T and stress, and helping you regain your vitality pretty quickly. So as we step back and really look at this silent, global crisis of fertility and vitality, driven by the chemicals in our food and the chronic stress in our minds, we have to realize that our biology is under pressure like never before in human history. We are absolutely not defenseless, but we do have to be proactive. So I'll leave you with this final thought. What changes will you make today to protect your health for tomorrow?